That day, some students were kidnapped and brought to a secret place. There, an announcer told them the rules of the game. They will be playing a werewolf game. There would be 3 werewolves mixed into this group. Aside from them, the rest would be villagers. Together they would be called the residents of this game. At 8 p.m., all residents are to return to the seats they are currently in and vote on who they believe is the werewolf. The werewolves will also hide their identity and vote with the rest of the residents. The resident with the most votes will die. If multiple people received the same amount of votes, everyone else will make a tie-breaking vote. If the result remained the same, meaning multiple people got equal votes once, then no one would die that night. Between 12 a.m. to 6 a.m., villagers will remain inside their rooms. And the werewolves will leave their rooms between 12 a.m. to 2:30 a.m. They will choose one villager and kill them. If all of the werewolves are executed, then the villagers win. If the number of surviving villagers is lower than the number of werewolves present, then the werewolves will win. Nishina, our main character, already knows all these rules because she has already played this game before. I covered her first play in the previous part. Nishina wasn't confused, but everyone else was. They were wondering if this is a joke or what. The announcer also tells them that the winners of this game will receive 1 billion yen. Now, they have to look at the card under their chair to learn their roles. Looking at another person's card is completely prohibited. Nishina checked her card and found out that she's a werewolf. Beside her, Konomi, who has also played this game before, is most likely a werewolf too. Nishina knows that she and Konomi is a werewolf, and she would learn about the third one in the midnight. There are more rules. Of all of the villagers, there's one person who possesses the power of the fortune teller. They can reveal the identity of one person every night. There's also someone who possesses the power of the bodyguard. The bodyguard can protect one person aside from themselves from the werewolves every night. Nishina was worried, because previously, there was no bodyguard role. Furthermore, there are also 2 twins within the villagers. The twins already know each other's identities in the beginning. Also, residents must not inhibit the flow of the game from progressing. They cannot exit the building or attempt to destroy the place. They also can't hurt another resident. If they break any rule, they might lose their life immediately. The first voting session will begin in 20 minutes. Everyone was confused and started chattering around. Only Nishina and Konomi were sitting calmly because they already knew everything. Note, all the students here are actually from the same school. Nishina decided to not talk to Konomi because they're not from the same class. It will feel unnatural. So she talks to the person she knows, Yanagawa. She asks him if he's okay and he answers yes. Yanagawa mentions that his cell phone and his wallet, but are missing. Yanagawa is actually the captain of the soccer club, so his leading skills are good. He's probably the only one who can lead everyone here. At that moment, Munakata raised her hand, saying that she played werewolf game quite a lot with her classmates. Munakata reminded them that they have to vote in 20 minutes, so they should at least introduce themselves. A guy shouted hearing that, asking if revealing information would reveal the werewolves. Munakata answered no. Nishina thought that Munakata was smart and also knew the rules of the game, so they should be wary of her. Nishina was the first one to introduce herself, and after that, Munakata introduced herself again. With that, everyone else introduced themselves as well. And oh my, there are so many people, remembering their names will be hard. You can pause the video and read their names if you want to. I will tell you their names as they talk. After the introduction was done, Tara stood up, angrily asking the werewolves to reveal themselves. But there's no way a werewolf would reveal themselves just like this. Hearing him shouting, he said that if any werewolf revealed themselves like this, they would just be plain brain dead. Tara was even more angry as he heard that, so he called ISE a werewolf and decided to vote for him. Before they could start fighting, a girl named Siki told them that it's almost 8 p.m. now. Everyone is confused, unable to decide whom to vote for. Suddenly, Yanagawa suggested that as long as they're not sure what the preparator wants, it's best to follow what they told them to. He asks everyone to vote for him. Everyone was really shocked hearing that. A guy named Tadu reminded him that he might die if they all vote for him. Yanagawa already knows that. He's just doing this so everyone can be sure about the outcome. What a dumb guy. Nishina also told him that no one is going to praise or thank him if he died. Right then, the voting time began and immediately, everyone pointed at Yanagawa. For a moment, nothing happened, so everyone thought that it was all a prank. However, the collar around Yanagawa's neck suddenly poured a lot of acid on his face. Yanagawa felt a lot of pain as face slowly burned. He kept asking for help, but there's no way to help him. In the end, he died really painfully. Nishina saw the scene and thought that in the last game, they had to execute residents with their own hands, but this time, the execution was carried out by the collars. Now, everyone has realized that the game is actually real and they started panicking. A boy ran toward the window and was about to jump out. But before he could, Munakata stopped him, telling him that it's against the rules. Koswon faced outside and started shouting, asking for help, but no reply came. Everyone was really worried, because at night, the werewolves will kill one person. Nishina wasn't chatting with others. She was standing alone, but it's not a good idea. It's easier to raise suspicion from others if you act alone. It's wiser to open up and act similar to everyone else. When the voting session ended, they picked up Yanagawa's body and placed it inside his room. After that, everyone headed to their assigned rooms. Nishina entered her room and thought that it's almost the same as last time. All the things she needs to pass the next few days are all prepared for her. There was also a little safe placed on the table. She opened it up using the code written on her card. Inside, she found a knife and then changed her clothes as well. As she left her room, she saw Konomi leaving her room as well. They both walked downstairs together and met the third werewolf, which was Ise. Konomi was glad that the third werewolf wasn't someone stupid. Ise said that she shouldn't be glad, this is the worst situation. After beating the game as a villager, Ise finally thought he would go home, but then he was forced into the second round. They introduced themselves once more and then sat down, trying to decide whom to kill. It's hard to choose someone right now, and they don't know who the fortune teller is either. Konomi then asked him if there was a bodyguard role when he played for the first time. He answered no, saying that the twins' role wasn't there either. Also, they wonder what twins can even do, they just know the identity of one other person and that's it. Nishina said that there's a lot of different roles this time, maybe they want to make it harder on werewolves. However, there's 3 werewolves this time, so that balances everything out. With that, they started thinking about whom to kill. Nishina suggested that they should kill someone who's smarter and might get in their way. They have 4 people in mind. Andu, Emoto, Munakata, and lastly, Seiki. However, Konomi said that those 4 are also the most suspicious to the other villagers. So, they should kill someone who's the least suspicious to the villagers. They have some information on everyone thanks to the first voting sessions. First, Nishina suggested that they should kill Hitomi. But, Konomi said Munakata. She said whatever she could to save Koswon from jumping out, so she would be the least suspicious. They mentioned Tera as well, he's not suspicious, but he's hostile. Now, they have 4 people in mind, Hara, Munakata, Hitomi, and Koswon. After thinking for a while, Ise decided that they would be killing Koswon. Everyone agreed and soon, they were standing in front of Koswon's room. But surprisingly it was locked. Ise started panicking, trying to open the door. Konomi tried as well, but no matter what they did, the door didn't budge. Everyone was really confused, wondering what's going on. At that moment, they remembered the bodyguard. The bodyguard might be protecting Koswon. What bad luck, out of so many people, they choose the one protected by the bodyguard. With no other choice, they decided to kill someone else tonight. However, the door of the next person didn't open as well. They tried many different rooms, but no door opened. Konomi guessed that since they chose the protected room first, their night raid is considered a failure and they can't kill anyone tonight. He was really angry and kicked the door in anger. Konomi quickly stopped him, because there's a chance the person inside the room might hear him. This is just a guess, so they all separated and tried to open all the doors. In the end, the guess was on point as no door opened. They all were really worried, unable to kill any person today, meaning disadvantage. Ise asked them to not worry, saying that the bodyguard just got lucky today. They will surely kill someone tomorrow. However, there's a possibility they might not be able to kill anyone tomorrow either. Nishina was the most worried one. She couldn't get over that they couldn't kill anyone today. Konomi woke her up, asking her to meet her at the bathrooms at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Ise said that he would keep pretending he has no contact with both of them. Then, they headed back to their rooms, deciding to meet tomorrow. In the morning, everyone gathered at the cafeteria. One guy shouted that the werewolves tried to kill him last night. He said that because his door made a sound and was moving. Slowly, the residents gathered together one by one. When the last person came, they were shocked that no one died. The weird part was that everyone's door made a sound, but no one died. The girl named Hitomi said that the werewolves probably couldn't kill anyone, they're students like them after all. At that moment, Nishina pointed out that maybe the bodyguard's powers worked. The bodyguard can protect one person and that person might have been targeted by the werewolves. To heard that and shouted, saying that if the bodyguard works hard enough, no one will die. Munakata pointed out that it might be true for the night portion, but what about when they have to vote? Also, the bodyguard might not be successful every night. Still, Andu said that they at least have an advantage now. Hara said that Andu is making it sound like it's the villagers against the werewolves, but the werewolves are also amongst them right now. They were just unlucky and were chosen to be werewolves, they shouldn't think of them as their enemies. Konomi quickly pointed out that this was what a werewolf would say. Hara shouted, calling her wrong. She said that to ostracize and hate the people who did nothing. She just doesn't like that. Konomi pointed out that she could say that because no one died at night. Everyone knows that werewolves were up at night, trying to open the doors. If the bodyguard failed, then someone would have died for sure. Nishina assumed that the werewolves might have already chosen their target. So, if they didn't change their way of thinking, it might be bad. Right then, Siki said that everyone should get serious about this. Ise said that they all are already serious, she's the only one who's not serious. Siki said that she has already understood all the rules. Sipping on the juice, she revealed that she managed to pull the twins card. Nishina was shocked to hear that. She never imagined people would reveal their roles this early. To walked up to her, asking her if she's lying just so they won't suspect her. Siki says that if they think she's lying, the real one can just come and prove that she's lying. No one else raised their hand, so Andu asks her to tell who's her partner. Siki refused, saying that she will not let the other twin reveal themselves. Also, she said that she would be deciding who they vote for every night from here on. Tara was really angry, asking her why she gets to decide who to vote for. She gave the reason that she's a confirmed villager. As long as no one else claims to be a twin themselves, then it's guaranteed Siki is the twin, a villager. Nishina was thinking if she should call herself a twin as well. However, she also feels like she shouldn't do something like that. At that moment, Siki said that if there's really a real pair of twins here, then when she signals, both of them have to reveal themselves. Now Nishina was worried. Currently, there are 3 werewolves. If 2 of them don't shout out at exactly the same time, then they'll know they're fake. She doesn't want them in that position. If they make even a single mistake, then all of them will get revealed. With no one else claiming to be the twin, Siki was considered a confirmed villager. However, Konomi talked at that moment. Even if Siki's twin, why does she get to decide who they vote for? Siki acted shocked hearing that question. She said that she always thought Konomi was smarter. The reason why Siki gets to decide who to vote for is because she's a confirmed villager and knows one more villager, her partner. Now if they don't listen to her and accidentally vote out her partner, then werewolves would have advantage. She's not revealing her partner because she doesn't want werewolves to kill her partner. Kanos mentioned that Siki is now in a lot of danger. Werewolves will aim for her first. Siki heard that and said that twins don't have any power. Then, if she was a werewolf, she wouldn't purposely aim for a twin. She would rather kill someone else, like the fortune teller or the bodyguard. She's trying to say she wouldn't be haunted by werewolves nor be voted out. However, that's only true if she doesn't provoke the werewolves. They're also human and can be governed by their emotions. Siki says that if that happens, she would just give up. Nishina was really frustrated, even though she didn't show it from the outside. Even though Nishina wants to kill Siki, she also knows that it wouldn't help the werewolves. They should be aiming to kill the bodyguard or the fortune teller. Tara then asked her who they should vote for today. She thought for a while and answered, to. This is just her personal preference, nothing more. At least, she knows he's not the other twin. Siki asks them to tell her any information they have or if they're suspicious of someone. If they have nothing to say, they will vote to today. To was really angry, unable to understand why she chose him. She answers that she's choosing based on her feelings. Whether he's the werewolf or not, she's still only choosing based on her gut feelings. Hearing that, To shouted, saying that she could have chosen someone else. They all are the same. Siki answered that he's telling the truth, but out of everyone here, he probably hates her the most. In the past, Siki used to work at a DVD shop. She accidentally spotted To on her shop, and he was shoplifting. As To walked out of the store, she calmly walked up to him and started talking. They already knew each other, so it wasn't awkward. To has purchased some DVDs and he got a discount too. Suddenly, Siki asked him to hand over all the DVDs he stole. To tried to tell her that he bought all the stuff, he didn't shoplift. However, Siki saw the whole scene, so she knew where he was hiding the DVDs. She pointed at them, asking him what he had under his clothes. Tadu quickly apologized, saying that he forgot to pay. But Siki didn't listen, calling him a thief. She even decided to report him to the school. Tadu heard that and said that she didn't have any proof of him shoplifting. Siki said that everything is recorded in their security camera. Tadu started crying, asking her to not reveal that. Siki enjoyed seeing him crying. The thing about having the recording was just a lie. Their shop doesn't have any cameras. She started blackmailing him, asking him to give all the money he has to her. Even after taking the money, she didn't let him go. She asks him to bring 10 times this amount next month. She also has few requirements. 1. The money shouldn't be stolen. 2. If he told anyone about this, she would call the police. 3. If he doesn't return, she will have him arrested. 4. If he complained, she would call the police. Tadu was really angry but couldn't do anything. She revealed all that to everyone present there. Tadu was really angry, asking her to not talk about that. Siki said that he himself asked her the reason. Also, by learning about his crimes, it would be easier for everyone to vote for him. Hearing that, Tadu told her that she's a piece of trash as well. But Siki isn't a werewolf, so voting for her doesn't make any sense. What if Tadu is the werewolf? He would surely kill her, that's why she's voting him out first. However, Tadu answered that he never wanted to kill her. The person he wants to kill is Hitomi. In the past, Tudo's friends were praising him for having a girlfriend. They were really jealous and wanted a girlfriend as well. When they asked him why she chose someone like him, Tadu answered that he worked really hard. His friends heard that and couldn't believe him. They pointed toward Hitomi, asking him to make her like him. He quickly refused, saying that she's illegal. But his friends told him that only her height is small, she's completely legal. He still refused to go talk to her. After the school ended, Tadu was walking home with his girl named Ai. As they were about to step out of the school's gate, Tadu said that he forgot his wallet and headed back to grab it. When he returned to the classroom, he saw Hitomi alone. She was packing up to go home. Tadu wondered what his friends would say if Hitomi started liking him as well. So, he picked up his wallet and asked her if she had a boyfriend. She answered no, and Tadu also told her that he's not dating anyone currently. He invited her to go out with him if she likes to. Hitomi quickly stood up and was about to leave. However, Tadu blocked her way, asking her once more. Still, she refused and ran away. He was really worried, because if his girlfriend learned what just happened here, she would surely leave him. He just hoped Hitomi wouldn't talk about this and walked out with his girlfriend. Because of that, Tadu spent many days suffering from anxiety, fear, and embarrassment. But this isn't even her fault. Siki also started laughing, calling him a complete piece of crap. Tadu saw that and requested her to choose someone else. Siki pulled him close, asking him to ask for the favor properly and she might think about it. With no other choice, Tadu bowed in front of Siki, begging her to choose someone else. Still, Siki didn't change her mind. She just said that she would think about it and decided to leave the place. Before leaving, she asked them to tell her if they found out anything. As she turned around, Tadu picked up a chair and ran to attack her. But before the chair could hit her, the collar around Tadu's neck punished him for breaking the rule. He felt a lot of pain and fell to the ground. Siki walked away, laughing at him. Nishina thought that the current situation was being controlled by Siki. Still, she doesn't feel like she would lose. In order to win, she won't be swayed by things like friends or love. Sitting in her room, Nishina thought that she's sure Tadu doesn't have any special powers. Because if he had, he would have revealed them already. She checked the time and it was almost 3 p.m. She headed toward the bathrooms to meet Konomi. After some walking, she saw 4 residents gathered outside a room. They all entered the room, and following them, Nishina entered as well. Inside the room, Andu and Tara were standing. Tara couldn't talk for some reason, so in his place, Andu talked. He revealed that Hara and Tara are dating. And Tara learned that Hara has pulled a werewolf card. Nishina was really shocked hearing that, and at that moment, the clock hit 3. Nishina thought that if Hara really said that she had pulled a werewolf card, then there's no advantage in that. There's also a chance that this is Andu's trap in order to smoke out the werewolves. If that's true, then why is he playing along with Andu? She looked toward Ai, thinking that it might be his plan to make himself look innocent. Right then, a girl named Akiko asked him why she even told him this. Hara knows that her death would be confirmed if someone found out she's a werewolf. Tara thought for a while and shouted, saying that Hara trusts him, that's why she told him. He had no choice but to betray Hara because his own life is in danger here. Then, Akiko asked him why he only told them about this, why he didn't call the remaining people. Tara gave some random reasons, but Nishina wasn't convinced. She wonders why Tara is telling this lie, trying to sacrifice his lover. Or he just views her as someone who's in his way. Tara started crying, shouting that he doesn't want to say these things either, but there's no other choice. They realize that now Tara is trying to convince them to vote Hara. In the end, Akiko said that she needs some time to think about it. Nishina said the same thing and left the place. Nishina reached the bathrooms, but Konomi wasn't there. Nishina came really late. Returning to her room, Nishina thought that she shouldn't be thinking about Tara, but a way to fight against the biggest risk to all of the werewolves. She wants a way to defeat their fortune teller. Right now, only 12 people are left, and from them, 3 are werewolves. Aside from the fortune teller, 3 out of the 11 remaining people are werewolves. It's almost 1 in 4 chance. Even if the fortune teller chooses a random person, chances of that person being a werewolf are 1 in 4. Nishina thought that they could have one werewolf come out and say they're the fortune teller. That way villagers can be misled and werewolves will have the upper hand. But she doesn't want to be the fake fortune teller, it's risky. She also knows that others will not take the role upon themselves, so she has to do something. After some time, Nishina came to the cafeteria and thought that she hadn't seen Andu, Tara, and Ise for a while now. She wonders if they're going room to convince them. At that moment, Nishina suddenly got an idea. She was hesitating to apply for it, but there's no better option. She's playing seriously to not lose. Also, it's fine if it's her, she would be able to do it. We'll learn later who she's talking about. Right then, Konomi walked in and called her, telling her that there's only 10 minutes left until voting. While walking, Nishina apologized for not meeting her in the bathrooms. Konomi asked her to not think about it, and told her to not talk so friendly in an open place like this. Nishina asks her why Konomi came to get her, won't that be suspicious? Konomi said that it's not a big deal, Tara was the one who asked her to come get her. As they entered the voting room, Nishina flinched. Tara angrily asked Nishina what she was doing, coming this late. Nishina answered that she was thinking about a lot of things and didn't notice the time. Hearing that, Ise looked at her, saying that it's suspicious. He pointed out that she's too calm. He has read somewhere before, when someone sleeps soundly after being arrested, they're usually the culprit. The innocent usually are too worried to sleep. Nishina understood what Ise's thinking. If he puts everyone's suspicion on her, then he can show that we're not friends and we don't get along to everyone else. She understands that, but it still angers her. She sat down on her seat, asking Ise to stop saying weird things. She looked toward Tara and Hara. They both were sweating. Nishina quickly diverted her gaze, because she should be thinking about herself. Suddenly she said that they're going to vote soon and looked toward Konomi, saying that she should tell everyone. Konomi was worried, unable to understand what Nishina's saying. Nishina loudly announced that Konomi is the fortune teller. Konomi was really shocked and shouted angrily, asking her why she said that. She stayed quiet, thinking that this is the plan she came up with. Then, Nishina looked at Konomi, saying that she understands that she doesn't want to be targeted, but Nishina wants her to save all of them. If she doesn't, she will die too. At that moment, Munakata asked her how she knows Konomi is the fortune teller. Nishina answered that she overheard Konomi talking about it with Ise. She heard it accidentally and was surprised as well. Also, she saw Konomi entering Ise's room in the evening. Konomi said that she didn't want the others to find out, she wanted Ise to keep it secret for now. Nishina revealed everything because their lives are at stake and she just can't risk it. There's no saying when Nishina herself might get voted out and killed, that's why she revealed Konomi's identity. Konomi heard all that and was getting really worried and angry. Nishina continued, sure that Konomi will be able to handle it. Nishina said that yesterday, Konomi found out the identity of one person. She told that person's identity to Ise and Nishina overheard it. Nishina told them that Konomi found out Andu's a villager. With this, Andu will surely fall for it and believe that Konomi's the fortune teller. Nishina thought that anyone would lower their guard around someone who would vouch for their own innocence. There's a great advantage in winning over someone as tricky as Andu. In the end, Konomi said it herself that she's the fortune teller. Even though Konomi didn't want to do it and was really angry at Nishina, she had no other choice. Konomi knew the way fortune tellers' powers work from the previous game, so she was able to tell them that she just has to put the room number of the person she wants to check on the remote controller in her room. Andu then asked her why she specially checked him. Konomi answered that Andu is the smartest person here, so she checked him, thinking that it would be scary if he's a werewolf. Nishina smiled because Konomi is handling the situation properly. Tara was really angry and stood up, asking her why she didn't reveal that she's the fortune teller earlier. Konomi shouted back, saying that the obvious reason is that she would be targeted by the werewolves if her identity gets revealed. She shouted, saying that the bodyguard should protect her tonight. Ise also smiled, thinking that Konomi's acting is really great. With only 1 minute left, Akiko said that she wants to clarify something. First, Sarki is one of the twins and Konomi is the fortune teller. Konomi also claims that Andu is the villager. On that, Siki said that they haven't confirmed if Konomi is really the fortune teller. I don't know why, but I really hate this girl. Nishina heard that and thought that Siki is really a troublesome girl, saying unnecessary things. Nishina wants to get rid of her tonight. As the voting started, everyone voted immediately. In the end, Hara got 6 votes, Tadu got 3 votes, Akiko got 1 vote and Munakata got 1 vote from Hara. Nishina wondered why Hara pointed toward Munakata. Hara was really shocked because even her boyfriend, Tara, voted for her. She was really angry and sad, jumping him. She said that it's too cruel and tried to attack him. But before she could do that, her head exploded. At night, werewolves gathered together. Konomi was really angry, but there's no use in getting angry. Konomi was cursing loudly, he angrily asked her to shut up, her voice might reach the rooms. Nishina was calm even though it's all happening because of her. After a moment, they all sat together. Konomi said that after what happened last time, she thought nothing would ever affect her again. Curious, Ise asked Nishina what happened to Konomi last time. Warning: read the previous story as well, available on my channel, spoilers will increase from here on. She revealed that Konomi had to kill her own sister in the last game. Konomi said that the way Hara died was really weird. Nishina thought that she's talking about how Hara revealed that she's a werewolf to Tara. But Konomi was thinking about the reason why Tara wanted to kill Hara. About 2 months ago, Konomi was in a supermarket when she saw Hara. Hara was walking really cautiously, looking around all the time. Konomi hid herself and followed Hara to see what she's going to get. And Konomi was shocked to see Hara buying a pregnancy test. Konomi was with her friend and they know that Hara's boyfriend is Tara. They call him a useless piece of crap. Still, Hara only bought a test, so there's a chance she's not pregnant. The next day, Konomi's friend learned that the test came out positive. Hara told about it to Tara and he disappeared like he was never there. He will surely ignore her during the time she's pregnant. So, Tara wanted to kill Hara just because he didn't want to pay the child support, and his plan worked. In the end, Konomi decided that she will kill Tara today. There wouldn't be any problem either because everyone thinks that Konomi is a fortune teller. Hearing that, Konomi shouted at Nishina, asking her what she was thinking, calling her the fortune teller. Nishina apologized, but what apology's going to do? Konomi asked her what she's going to do if the real fortune teller came out, and everyone decided, hey, let's kill both of them. Then, how Nishina would act to protect Konomi. Nishina answered that she will stick to everyone and kill too. Konomi was really angry but didn't say a word. She couldn't understand what Nishina was thinking. The shocking thing is that in the first game, Nishina didn't act like this. Now she has suddenly become a genius with no way of telling what she's thinking to do next. Konomi said that if she reached the dead end, she would drag Nishina with her as well. Nishina just said that she shouldn't do it, there's no benefit in that. In the next scene, they were standing in front of Tara's room, and luckily, it opened as well. Inside, Tara was already choking. It turned out that Tara was thinking of attacking the werewolves with a chair, that's why he got punished. Konomi moved forward, put her foot on his face, asking him if he understood Hara's pain now. She assumes that he didn't and slowly pierces his heart, killing him. After killing Tara, Konomi walked out, saying that it's over for her now. Nishina was confused, asking what she meant by that. Ise assumed that she meant that tomorrow, Nishina or Konomi will die for sure. After that, Nishina was trying to sleep in her room, but couldn't. The reason wasn't that she's scared or feeling guilty, she was actually feeling really excited. She has realized that she's not fated for the peaceful life she was living before. The next day, everyone saw Tara's dead body and questioned, was Hara even a werewolf? Then, everyone was standing in the cafeteria. Munakata was the first one to talk to Konomi, asking her how yesterday's night went. As the fortune teller, she should have seen something. Konomi calmly answered that she saw Akiko as a villager. Nishina heard that and thought that it was really convincing. She was already expecting Konomi acting to be top tier. If she had taken too long to answer, everyone would be suspicious of her. But the way she replied, Nishina didn't like it. She didn't like what Konomi chose to say. Konomi should have called someone a werewolf, not a villager. Nishina assumed that it might be Konomi's revenge for suddenly forcing her into the fortune teller. While eating breakfast, Nishina thought that they should decide what Konomi would say from now on together at night. Suddenly, Akiko asked Konomi if she was suspecting her. Yesterday, Konomi voted for Akiko as well. There's no point in asking that because now everyone knows that she's a villager. Soon, everyone returned to their rooms except Siki and Nishina. Siki was sipping coffee, so Nishina says coffee is a good idea. She stood up and made herself a cut too. While she was sitting behind the drawer to get some stuff, Akiko arrived there. Nishina didn't stand up, wondering what she should do. Siki asked Akiko what she wanted and she said that she's here to ask for a favor. Akiko wants Siki to convince everyone to vote for ISE. Nishina thought that they're secretly discussing amongst themselves and it all began because of Tera. If people begin to secretly discuss who to kill, then they'll be building a psychological wall between them and everyone else. Akiko continues, saying that she's choosing ISE just because of personal grudge. It has nothing to do with this game. Hearing that, Nishina thought that it's better to reveal herself now and she did that immediately. Nishina apologized, saying that she was looking for a spoon here. She didn't want to eavesdrop. She asks them if it's fine if she stays here. Akiko says that it's fine and all three of them sat together. Akiko shared that she's dating ISE right now. Nishina was shocked hearing that and coughed in her coffee. She wonders why there's so many psychopaths wanting to kill their loved ones. Siki was excited, wanting to hear the story. Akiko was walking in the school hallway when a guy came running and thanked her for lending him her book. She laughed it off, saying that it wasn't a big deal. Standing behind her, ISE saw everything. At home, Akiko talked about that boy, saying how he came running to her just because he lent her a book. ISE wasn't responding, so she asked him if he's listening. He answered her by landing a strong punch on her face. ISE didn't stop there. He grabbed her from the hair and started beating her more, calling her a cheater. He cursed her, saying that she always hangs around other boys when he's not watching. She was confused, asking him what he's talking about. ISE asked her if it's normal to have her cake slapped, or hanging around men that aren't her boyfriend. Akiko said that she only lent the dictionary to that boy. It's not a big deal. ISE didn't stop and kept beating her, while cursing her. At that moment, ISE's mother knocked on the door. They're currently at ISE's house. As ISE moved to open the door, Akiko thought that she would run away taking the chance. ISE's mother saw the scene and was shocked, saying that it's terrible. And she wasn't worrying about Akiko, she was talking about glass. She asked ISE if he's hurt somewhere. ISE answered no, saying that Akiko got injured when she tripped and fell on the glass. ISE's mother didn't even look at Akiko and was still asking ISE if he was fine. With that, Akiko realized that staying with ISE is the worst choice she can make. One day, she called ISE in a restaurant and break up with him. And just look at her face, her eye is damaged and there's more bruises as well. Shockingly, E still asked her the reason. Man, just look at her face, it's your fault. Akiko said the same thing. If he didn't understand why she's breaking up with him after seeing her face, then there's something wrong with his head. ISE was really angry, but because it was outside, there was nothing he could do. Akiko dropped some money on the table and left the place. However, she hadn't walked far when ISE appeared behind her and grabbed her, saying that she can't decide all that on her own. He grabbed her arm and took her somewhere empty. He cursed her and called her selfish for deciding to break up on her own. He didn't agree upon breaking up, so they can't break up. If she ignored him from now on, he would cut off her brother's ear. Wow, this guy really deserves to die. Akiko says that if proof comes out, revealing that ISE is a villager, then they will not vote for her. But if that never happens, she requests Siki to choose ISE. If by tomorrow's night no information came out, then they will vote ISE. Nishina agreed as well. Sitting in her room, Nishina thought that this would be quite troublesome. After listening to what Akiko had to say, she'll have to choose ISE now, and even more if no new information surfaces. However, losing a werewolf will really hurt her chances of winning. She's more concerned about the number of votes she has on her side. The 3 votes that can definitely decrease the number of villagers. She decided to not talk about it to ISE. But she decided to talk Konomi. Even with Siki's command, the first one to go will be to do. ISE is for tomorrow night. And depending on the situation, she might have to cut him off. After a moment, Nishina arrived at the cafeteria and saw Munakata. Nishina mentioned that there were a lot of people in the cafeteria and asked her if something happened. And as she said, all the people were gathered in the cafeteria and Siki was standing like she's a host. At that moment, Kos-1 gulped down a drink and shouted, asking everyone to listen to him for a minute. He revealed that he's the real fortune teller, and Konomi is lying. Also, he saw yesterday that Ise is the werewolf. Ise was really shocked and started sweating. Nishina thought that Ise is really popular right now. She thought that with how things are going now, she should cut off Ise now. There's also a pressuring issue right now. There are two fortune tellers. Kos-1 couldn't say anything yesterday afternoon. But since he has found a werewolf, he could say it now. Munakata pointed out that he could have said something this morning. Kos-1 agreed, but that would have given werewolves more time to come up with a counterplan. They would have enough time to do small tinkering and change their minds, just like the last time with Tara and Hara. So he thought it would be better to reveal everything when everyone's gathered together right before the vote. Plus, he could watch the werewolves and see if they reveal anything in the meantime. Everyone agreed, saying that it makes sense. Right then, Nishina talked, saying that Kos-1 practiced quite a lot. Munakata asked him who he looked at the night before yesterday. Kos-1 hesitated a little and answered that he saw Siki. She was a villager. Taking the chance, Konomi talked, asking him what's making him so nervous. She commented that he sucks at lying. Also, why did he choose to look up Siki? They have already confirmed that she's a twin. At that moment, Nishina raised her hand, saying that she heard it last time that Konomi told Ise that she pulled the fortune teller card. Konomi shouted that she wanted to hide that, but because of Nishina, she had to reveal it. Then, Kos-1 asked Konomi why she told Ise that she pulled the fortune teller card. Konomi shared that Ise was the only person here that's from the same class, so she trusted him and told him. Hitomi then asks them who they voted for. Konomi answered first, saying that on her first round she voted for Yanagawa, and on her second round, she chose Inomoto. Munakata remembered that on his first day, Kos-1 chose Siki and on his second day, he chose Ise. Currently, even if Siki is confirmed to be a twin, they still don't know who her partner is. On top of that, a fake fortune teller showed up. For someone in the werewolf team to say, that person is a werewolf, would require a lot of courage. Hearing that, Konomi realized that Munakata is suspicious of her now. Munakata told her that she's not particularly suspicious of Konomi, she was just trying to reason this out. Logically, it would be hard for the fake fortune teller to say to a werewolf that they're a werewolf. Munakata continued, saying that the fake fortune teller will have to randomly choose a villager and convict them to be a werewolf, then there's always a possibility that that person is also a twin. And in that case, that twin will reveal themselves. And found all her thinking really logical. Ise then shouted, saying that that's just the thought pattern of someone who's used to playing this game, no one can act calmly in this situation. He's sure that Kos-1 is just saying random things, he's the person who tried to run away on the first day. Kos-1 said that he was just panicking on the first day, but now he's used to it. Sitting around the voting table, Kos-1 was sure that Konomi was the werewolf as well. Ise is also a werewolf, and if they include Hara, that's all three werewolves found. Ise heard that and pointed out that Kos-1 is talking a lot all of a sudden. Ise asks him if he's panicking because his partner, Hara, is gone. Kos-1 shouted, refusing what Ise just said. And finally, the voting time started and everyone chose the person. In the end, Kos-1 had 4 votes, Ise and 6 votes. Immediately, the collar around Ise's neck tightened, strangling him. Nishina looked at the scene and thought that it's a good thing Ise's cut off now. They have to be careful not to examine this situation. Seeing how the voting went, Kos-1 had over half the people at his side. Meaning, Konomi is already considered a fake fortune teller. On the next vote, Konomi will likely be targeted. Nishina has to somehow support her and prepare for the risk in order to not lose another werewolf. At that moment, dying Ise took out a knife that he was hiding. Nishina was shocked, unable to believe that Ise is walking around with a knife. Everyone panicked and moved backward. As Ise fell to the ground, Siki walked up to him. She sat down in front of him, praising him for his hard work as a werewolf. She asks him if he wants to say something before it's all over. Coming this close to Ise was her biggest mistake. Ise used his last bit of strength and slit Siki's neck. She also fell to the ground as blood poured out from her neck. They tried to stop the blood, but nothing worked and Siki died as well. Wow, her arrogance was the cause of her death. Some blood fell on Nishina's face, and she smiled and felt excited seeing it. At night, Nishina and Konomi were together. For some reason, Nishina was smiling, which was making Konomi angry. When she asked her the reason, she answered that she's not smiling. Konomi told her that she's smiling, but Nishina refused. Konomi was getting frustrated, and Nishina couldn't blame her. It's very likely she'll be voted out next. It turned out that the knife Issei had wasn't his own, but it was Konomi's. Last night, when she killed Taira, she didn't take her knife, leaving it stuck in Taira's body. Issei was the one who took the knife without telling anyone. Even though Issei was an idiot for roaming around with a knife, he didn't do a good job before dying. He took down Siki with him. Now, Konomi doesn't have a knife, so Nishina has to kill the person. Nishina asked if they should kill the fortune teller. Konomi quickly refused, saying that if he died, people would believe that Konomi is a werewolf. Then, Nishina suggested Andu. He voted for Koswon, meaning he trusts her. Konomi didn't agree on killing Andu as well. She said that they can't lose any people who trust her. They have to choose between Hitomi, Tadu, Munakata, and Inomoto. The fortune teller Koswon can't be killed. Andu trusts Konomi, so they can't kill him either. Munakata is a strong enemy, but she can remain as a werewolf-like villager to help avert attention. In the end, Konomi decided on killing Inomoto. The reason is, Inomoto came to Konomi yesterday, asking her to kill Issei. Also, Inomoto came to Nishina and Siki, asking them to vote for Issei as well. If Inomoto was a werewolf, she wouldn't have discussed it with everyone. The second reason is that Konomi told everyone that she used her fortune teller's powers to see that Inomoto isn't a werewolf. If Inomoto died now, people might believe Konomi. In the next scene, they were in Inomoto's room. Nishina plunged the knife into her stomach to kill her. While doing that, Nishina was smiling. She brutally stabbed Inomoto multiple times until she died. Even Konomi was standing stunned, unable to believe that this was Nishina's first kill. The next day, Koswon was shocked that Inomoto died and not him. He was really worried, assuming that the bodyguard might have protected him and Inomoto was likely fine in her room. He went to check and saw Inomoto lying on the bed, dead. He shouted loudly, grieving for her death. He never felt this much sadness for anyone else's death. People wonder if Koswon used to like Inomoto. They sat silent for a while, and suddenly, Tadu claimed to be the fortune teller. Konomi heard that and told him to stop joking at this moment. Tadu said that he's not joking. Konomi shouted, saying that there's no way he's the fortune teller after everything that happened. They assumed that he's trying to split them up and ask him to stop. But Tadu didn't stop. He seriously claimed to be the fortune teller. They asked him why he didn't talk when Koswon and Konomi were arguing. Tadu gave the reason that he didn't understand the rules. Konomi turned even angrier, saying that even a monkey could understand the rules. Tadu shared that yesterday he thought the fake fortune tellers will eventually die anyway. Right then, they heard a loud noise that came from the top floor. They became worried because Koswon and Andu were the ones who went to check Inomoto. They quickly head to Inomoto's room and upon entering, they saw Andu standing alone and a broken window. Andu said that he couldn't stop him in time. It turned out that Koswon killed himself by jumping outside the window. Earlier, Koswon started crying loudly. Andu tried to calm him down, but he didn't listen. Koswon kept crying, saying that there's no point in doing this anymore. In the past, Koswon and Inomoto were in the same class. When he first saw her, Inomoto said that they should get along from now on. Koswon felt so lucky that Inomoto talked to him. One day, when Koswon was sitting beside Inomoto, he noticed an injury on her arm. When he asked her about it, she quickly hid it and in panic told him that it's nothing. At that moment, he just assumed that Inomoto was embarrassed to show her scar. But later he found out that Inomoto parted her hair differently in order to hide her eye, which was injured. Worried, he asked Inomoto if she's being abused. Inomoto smiled, answered no, and walked away. The next day, Inomoto didn't appear in class, so Koswon wondered if she's absent today. Right then, Inomoto entered the classroom, apologizing for being late. Her condition was really bad with bruises everywhere. As she was walking to her seat, Koswon stood up and took Inomoto outside with him. He offered a warm drink and asked her if she's caught up in some kind of trouble. She started crying and cried a lot. We have already heard Inomoto's backstory, so we know that it's Issei who's abusing her. Koswon advised her to break up with Issei, and she answered that she already tried. We already know what happened after she tried breaking up with him. In the present, Koswon stood up, saying that this all doesn't matter anymore. He revealed that both Koswon and Inomoto were working together from the start to take down Issei. Suddenly, Koswon broke the window with a lamp and then jumped outside before Andu could act. Like that, Koswon died as well. Sitting in the cafeteria, they have Andu some water and ask him to not blame himself for anything. Even though this was a bad time, Munakato told Andu that Tadu claimed to be the real fortune teller. I actually think that To-Do might be a real fortune teller. And it felt like his head was about to explode. He put all the information together. First, they assumed that Issei was a werewolf. He even had a knife so they can say that he was actually a werewolf. Then, Siki was the twin and the murdered Inomoto was also a villager. And the probability of Kosuan being a werewolf is low. If he was a werewolf, he would have never let Inomoto die. Also, he can't be the fortune teller because he said that he was trying to trap Issei. To-Do then shared that he saw Kosuan's true identity yesterday and he was a villager. Konomi heard that and shouted, calling him fake. In return, To-Do called her fake. Konomi asked him if he's the real one, then who he looked at yesterday night and the night before. To-Do answered that he checked Siki on the first night and she was a villager. He couldn't tell the second one because he actually forgot to look up someone that day. Taking this chance, Konomi shouted that it's impossible to forget to use your powers, their lives are at stake here. To-Do said that can't do anything even if she says that now. He shared that he was preparing himself in case the werewolf came for him. So after everything he started dozing off and before he realized, it was already morning. Kasumi asked him to make a better story next time. Andu also said that he can't believe To-Do after what he said. As Konomi thought that she's safe, Munakata suggested that they should vote Konomi next. Konomi was shocked, asking the reason. Munakata said that if To-Do was the werewolf, then yesterday night, he would have killed either Konomi or Kosuan. Hearing that, Konomi was shocked and To-Do asked her what she meant by that. Munakata explained that up until yesterday night, Konomi and Kosuan had both declared that they're the fortune teller. So in other words, everyone would have thought that the werewolf would have to be either of them. On top of that, there is no reason for a werewolf to kill another werewolf at night. If either one of them dies, then the one that remains would be the werewolf. In that case, they would have been executed in the next vote. This would have exactly what To-Do, if he was a werewolf, would have wanted. Nishina agreed, thinking that if To-Do was really the werewolf, then he would have intentionally made a situation that makes Konomi wants to avoid him. But he didn't because he's not a werewolf. Munakata continued, saying that both Kosuan and Konomi didn't die because To-Do wasn't a werewolf but the fortune teller. Konomi shouted, saying that it's not true. There's no way To-Do would have been thinking this far ahead. He called himself the fortune teller without even thinking it through. Still, Munakata believes that To-Do would have killed either one of them at night. Nishina agreed and thought that she would have cut Konomi off now. To-Do also stood up, saying that he saw Kosuan was the village, so Konomi is surely the werewolf. With no argument left, Konomi revealed that she's the werewolf. But she said that she just remembered one of the things they first heard when the game started. One of the requirements to end the game. If all of the werewolves are killed, then the villagers win. If the villagers are outnumbered by the werewolves, then the werewolves win. Once the number of werewolves and villagers are equal, then this game will end. Andu looked toward Nishina, asking her if she remembered this requirement. Nishina answered no. She didn't think that Konomi would have something up her sleeve. Munakata agreed, saying that there's a rule like that, but that's just there to shorten the amount of time needed to play the game. She explained that when there are only 2 werewolves and 2 villagers left, then the werewolves side and villagers side both their discussions and choose one person to vote out. There are a lot of different rules, like either both of them die, or one person is randomly selected to die. But in the case where 2 votes versus 2 votes, then that means no one dies that day. Then, at night, the werewolves can do whatever they want. So a villager will definitely die. Whether the game continues or not, once the numbers are equal, the villagers are definitely going to lose. Konomi said that that doesn't even matter. She pointed toward the camera, saying that they never mentioned if they'll continue the game or not until one side is completely annihilated. All they said was that the werewolves will win if the number of villagers are less than the number of werewolves alive. So, they can kill her now and continue the game after. But they haven't found the last werewolf yet. At the very least, one of the villagers is going to die tonight. The last werewolf might even survive through tomorrow's vote, then, at night, another villager will die. Then in the end, Nishina completed her sentence, 1 werewolf and 1 villager remain. The probability of that happening is not 0, at least for now. She promised that if they all vote according to her instructions, she will make it so that 2 villagers remain. This might be a useless sacrifice on their side, but according to Konomi, it's worth it. Hearing all that, Munakata asked her even if they agreed, what she meant by voting according to her instructions. She asked everyone to vote for To-Do tonight. Witnessing the whole scene, Nishina was shocked. Even though Konomi was cornered, she managed to turn it all around and control the situation within a few minutes. It's obvious that the atmosphere of the villagers have changed. Nishina is sure that Konomi planned all this yesterday night. Hitomi asks if this will all end tomorrow if they follow her. Konomi answered that there's a chance it might not end tomorrow, but if they follow her instructions, then she assures that only 2 of the villagers will die. To-do was angry, shouting that there's no way to tell for sure if the game will end. Also, if it ended, they never said what would happen to the remaining villagers that lost. Konomi agrees that there's no guarantee if the remaining villagers will be released. But the winners would get 1 billion yen, so they might free the villagers but give them no money. While all the villagers were shaken, Konomi headed to her room, saying that she will meet them during the voting. Poor To-do was thinking why he always gets trapped in these situations. At night, the voting began and someone died. About 5 hours ago before the vote, Nishina came to Munakata's room. She told her some things and then left the room, asking her to think about what she just told her. After that, Nishina visited Hitomi. Immediately after starting the conversation, Nishina asked Hitomi to vote for Nishina tonight. When Hitomi asked the reason, Nishina replied that Konomi suggested sacrificing To-do. It seems like the right choice, but Nishina thinks that Konomi is trying to manipulate them psychologically. Konomi proposed a solution based on an unclear premise that they didn't notice and left the decision to them. By premise, Nishina means the idea that there's still another werewolf aside from Konomi that is still alive. If they don't let her live, then the villagers will pretty much all die. Because of that, they were faced with the hard decision to either kill Konomi or not. But there's always a possibility that there aren't 2 werewolves left. That whole premise might have been wrong to begin with. Coverselt, if there really is one more werewolf alive, they can still kill them in tomorrow's vote. It's not certain, but there's always the possibility. Konomi told them that if they killed her, all the villagers would die as well. Nishina thinks that that's not really true. Saying all that, Nishina is sure that Hitomi's shaken up now. She just needs one more push to agree to her. Hitomi then talked, saying that Nishina is asking her to vote for Konomi, so Nishina herself could live. Konomi is surely the werewolf, she admitted it herself, and To-do is a villager. If he lives, they'll be able to find the identity of the last werewolf. However, Hitomi said that Konomi and the other person didn't choose to become werewolves, they were forced to. Nishina heard that and reminded Hitomi that werewolves have killed people with their own hands. Hitomi's response was the same, saying that werewolves didn't choose that either, they were forced to kill people. Nishina turned a little worried hearing that, wondering how she should counter this response. She sat beside Hitomi and decided to change her approach. Nishina told her that they were forced into this game as well. She said that she also thinks it's irrational to kill an ally in order to survive. Everyone else said the same thing. Nishina poured tea in the cup, asking Hitomi to imagine what would happen if everyone voted for Konomi, while she's the only one who voted for To-do. Of course everyone would think that she's the last werewolf who doesn't want to vote for her own ally. With that, the scene shifts to present where voting happened. Every single person voted for Konomi. Konomi was shocked, saying that if they vote for To-do, this game will end tomorrow. She shouted that there's still another werewolf within this group, they can still change their vote. But no one listened to her. Blood started pouring out from her eyes, mouth and nose. She was in a lot of pain, she didn't want to die, but there's nothing she could do. In the end, her head exploded and she died brutally. Nishina looked at the scene and thanked Konomi in her mind. They went through a lot together. Konomi had to kill her own sister herself and now, she was still struggling hard to live. She tried to always seem calm, but she was a good kid who was kinder than anyone else and was incredibly passionate. Nishina thanked once more for dying in order to make Nishina look better. At night, Nishina killed To-do, thinking that with the fortune teller gone, it's only a matter of time until the inevitable will happen. The next day, Nishina woke up, changed her clothes and headed downstairs. Andu had already found To-do's body. Nishina looked at the corpse, saying that there's really another werewolf left. When Andu asked what they should do about the body, Nishina suggested leaving it as it is, because the game will end tonight. Everyone agreed, if they were able to execute the werewolf tonight, the villagers would win, otherwise the werewolf would win. As they started arguing in front of the corpse, Andu suggested talking somewhere else. Immediately after they entered the cafeteria, Nishina pointed at Andu, asking him if he's feeling guilty now. They were about to argue when Munakata asked them to stop, suggesting that they should organize information about their previous votes to find the werewolf. Hitomi shared that she remembered most of them, but doesn't think it'll be very helpful. Nishina heard that and thought that Hitomi has started talking more than usual, she just hopes it doesn't cause any problems. In the first round, everyone voted for Yanagawa, and in the second round, almost everyone chose Hara, except Munakata, who chose to do. Then, in the third round, they were split between trusting Koswon or Konomi. At that time, some believed Konomi and some believed Koswon. Munakata said that if she was the werewolf, she wouldn't have suggested voting for Konomi yesterday. If Munakata was the werewolf, then she herself, Konomi, and one more would have chose to do, and the werewolves would have won. Nishina heard that and thought it would have happened if Konomi lived. But Nishina betrayed Konomi and chose to survive by herself. That's much safer than sympathizing with Konomi. She apologized to Konomi for doing that. But it's not that big of a deal. Konomi also killed her own sister to survive in the previous game. So, Nishina and Konomi both equally committed the same crime. At that moment, Munakata pointed out that when Konomi lied about being the fortune teller, she mentioned that Andu is a villager. Andu turned worried, saying that Konomi said the same thing about Inomoto. Nishina talked, deciding to use this situation to her advantage. She said that Konomi was just trying to protect Andu, since he's her fellow werewolf. While talking, Nishina, in her mind, thanked Munakata for providing her this opportunity. Andu refused to admit that he's a werewolf, but Nishina still kept pressuring him. A few hours after that, Nishina managed to successfully destroy any trust anyone had left on Andu. Nishina was glued to someone's room door, trying to hear something. Right then, Munakata arrived there and asked her what she was doing. Instead of answering that, Nishina asked her if Andu came to see her as well. Meaning that Andu is going room to room, trying to tell them that he's not the werewolf. At that moment, they heard a loud shout. They quickly entered the room and saw Andu, who had violently grabbed Hitomi and was shouting at her. Nishina and Munakata pushed Andu away, saving Hitomi. The poor man fell to the ground, crying, looking at everyone's cold gaze. But crying didn't work, as in the next voting session, Andu died. His neck was twisted brutally as he died. Still, the game didn't end and everyone returned to their room, thinking that they would get the news in their rooms. At night, Nishina chose her target, which was Munakata. But shockingly, the room's door didn't open. In panic, Nishina remembered that the bodyguard was still alive. In the past, Munakata was running in the school, hiding a manga that she drew herself. Some boys asked her to show it to them, but Munakata didn't listen to them. As she took a turn, she bumped into someone. That someone was Nishina. Munakata's drawing fell to the ground and many students saw it, calling her drawing gross. Bro, this drawing isn't even bad, it's really good. Students might be bullying her for the love of the game. Nishina helped Munakata gather her stuff and said that she's really good. With that, Munakata woke up in her bed. She was alive, meaning that either Hitomi or Nishina is the werewolf. As Munakata left her room, Nishina was already standing outside and hugged her. While crying happily, Nishina told her that she's the bodyguard. At that moment, Hitomi arrived there as well. Nishina acted like a protector, asking Munakata to hide behind her. Nishina executed the plan that she prepared after thinking all night. Hitomi tried to say that she's the bodyguard, but Nishina didn't let her. She asked her to just stop. Nishina believed that Hitomi never thought the bodyguard was still alive. That's why she got flustered and started telling lies. As Hitomi said no, Nishina asked her to tell who she protected until now. Before she could answer, Nishina said that she protected Munakata the first day because she seemed knowledgeable about the game. After that, she protected Konomi because she thought Konomi was the fortune teller. The next night, she chose Konomi again. The night before last night, she chose Hitomi, and yesterday, she chose Munakata again. Then, Nishina asked Hitomi to tell whom she protected until now. Hitomi wasn't able to talk like Nishina. She barely said that she protected Koswon on the first night. Seeing her struggling to say anything, Nishina surely said that Hitomi was the werewolf. Sitting around the voting table, Munakata found contradictions in Nishina's words. Nishina earlier said that she protected Munakata on the first day. Munakata asked her why Nishina didn't tell anything to Munakata. In this game, they can talk to each other in secrecy. If Nishina was the real thing, then she would have talked to Munakata yesterday night. The reason why Hitomi didn't tell Munakata anything was because she never protected her. To her, Munakata could still possibly be a werewolf. As Nishina thought that she's cooked, it was time to vote. Surprisingly, even after saying all that, Munakata voted for Hitomi. Immediately, Hitomi was executed with her head severed. Nishina asked her the reason why she didn't vote for Nishina after saying all that. Munakata was about to say something when she was suddenly executed as well. With that, Nishina won the game. Nishino was confused, wondering what Munakata was about to say. Suddenly, the collar around Nishina's neck tightened, choking her. Nishina thought that she's going to die as well. She shouted, saying that she doesn't need the money, she wants to keep playing. But the collar around her stayed tight, making her unconscious. In the next scene she woke up, not in the building but outside. She can finally smell the trees and feel the wind. It's really all over. Surprisingly, Nishino wasn't happy at all. Right then she noticed a key outside. She picked it up, assuming that it's the key that will lead to 1 billion yen. Instead of getting happy, she threw the key on the ground, saying that she doesn't need money. She turned around, facing the big door, asking them to let her join them. For a moment, no response came, so she decided to turn around and leave. But right then, the door opened. With that, this manga has ended. There's still another manga left, but Nishina isn't the protagonist in that story. There will be different characters and a new role, so subscribe if you want to see that as well.